Hold on. Stop scrolling. I need you to see this. Right now. The Roloff family, America's favorite little people family from Little People, Big World, is in complete crisis. This isn't about farm drama or sibling rivalry. This is a parent's worst nightmare. Jackson Roloff, Zach and Tori's beloved little boy, has been rushed to the hospital. The details are scarce, the fear is palpable. We have exclusive, emotional reports of Zach and Tori Roloff breaking down in tears, their world shattered in an instant. What happened to Jackson? Is he going to be okay? Why is this situation so much more complicated and terrifying than anyone could have imagined? Stay with me, because we are going deep into this heartbreaking emergency, uncovering the medical mysteries, the family's frantic response, and the unanswered questions that have fans across the globe praying for his recovery. This is a Documentary Today special investigation. The Roloff family has lived in the public eye for over 2 decades. Through the lens of TLC's Little People, Big World, we've celebrated their joys, weddings, births, milestones. We've navigated their conflicts, land disputes, family tensions, the struggle for legacy at Roloff Farms. But nothing in their televised history could have prepared them, or us, for the seismic shock of a medical emergency involving one of their children. To understand the profound weight of this moment, we must first understand Jackson Roloff. Born in 2017 to Zachary Roloff and his wife, Tori, Jackson instantly captured hearts. Like his father and grandfather, Matt Roloff, Jackson has achondroplasia, the most common form of dwarfism. His journey has been one of inspiring adaptability, from his adorable first steps with specialized support to his beaming smiles that light up Instagram feeds. He's more than a reality TV star's kid, he's a symbol of resilience for the Little People community and a beloved son and brother to Lila and Josiah. His parents, Zach and Tori, have been fiercely open advocates, documenting the realities, challenges, and absolute triumphs of raising a child with dwarfism. Their social media pages are a testament to a normal, chaotic, and deeply loving family life. That's why the sudden silence was the first alarm bell. It began subtly. A missed scheduled post. An unusual gap in their typically active Instagram stories. Fans, particularly those invested in Jackson's journey, began to comment. Is everything okay? We haven't seen Jackson in a while. The Roloffs are public figures, but they also fiercely guard their children's privacy, especially concerning health. So, the concern simmered quietly. Then, the rumor mills of fan forums and gossip sites, always churning, began to pick up whispers. Unverified reports from supposed insiders mentioned a hospital visit. The word emergency was used. The family remained silent, which only amplified the anxiety. The break in the case came not from a formal announcement, but from a leak of raw, unfiltered emotion. A source close to the family, whose identity we are protecting, provided harrowing context. They described a scene of utter panic and devastation. Zach Roloff, often portrayed as the laid-back, humorous son, was reportedly seen visibly distraught, his face etched with a fear no parent should ever know. Tori, the rock of the family, a former teacher whose strength is legendary among fans, was described as being inconsolable. The phrase, crying uncontrollably, was used. This wasn't a minor incident. This was a catastrophic event that had brought 2 strong, capable parents to their absolute knees. What could cause such a reaction? The medical landscape for a child with achondroplasia is complex. While many lead full and healthy lives, there are known potential complications that require vigilant monitoring. We consulted with a pediatric orthopedic specialist, Dr. Alicia Reynolds, who does not treat Jackson but understands the medical framework. Children with achondroplasia, Dr. Reynolds explains, have unique anatomical considerations. Their foramen magnum, the opening at the base of the skull where the spinal cord connects to the brain, can be smaller. This can sometimes lead to compression, which is a serious neurological concern requiring immediate intervention. Then there's the potential for hydrocephalus, an accumulation of fluid in the brain. Spinal issues, including kyphosis or lordosis, are also monitored closely. Any severe headache, loss of motor function, breathing issues, or significant pain could trigger an emergency room visit for a comprehensive workup. The absence of official information has led to responsible speculation within the medical community watching from afar. Could it be a respiratory issue, given the potential for sleep apnea? Was there an accidental injury that interacted with his spinal anatomy? Or was it the sudden onset of a neurological symptom, a seizure, weakness, or severe pain, indicating a critical, underlying problem? Each possibility is a cliffhanger, each more frightening than the last. Let's delve deeper into the family's history for clues. Zach Roloff himself has undergone multiple surgeries throughout his life. He's spoken openly about the physical pain and lengthy recoveries. He knows, intimately, the medical road his son may have to travel. This knowledge must make the current crisis 1,000 times more terrifying. It's not an abstract fear, it's a lived memory. For Tori, who comes from an average-height family, marrying into the little people experience was a choice she made with open eyes and heart. She has educated herself relentlessly, becoming Jackson's greatest champion and protector. To feel helpless in the face of his suffering would be a unique torment. The emotional architecture of the Roloff family is also under immense strain. Think of the grandparents. Matt and Amy Roloff, despite their own complicated relationship, share a profound love for their grandchildren. Amy, especially, has a famously close bond with Jackson. The news would have shattered them. Karen, Matt's partner, is also deeply integrated into the family fabric. Jeremy and Audrey Roloff, Zach's brother and sister-in-law, though they've stepped back from the show, remain close family. Their private group chats must be blowing up with prayers, plans, and panic. This crisis has likely united the entire, sometimes fractured, Roloff clan in a single, desperate mission: support for Zach, Tori, and Jackson. Meanwhile, the public waits. The Little People, Big World fan community is vast and deeply invested. On Facebook groups and Reddit threads, the tone has shifted from casual gossip to genuine, worried plea. Please let Jackson be okay. Sending all our love to the Roloffs. No parent should go through this. The collective hope is a tangible force. Yet, it exists alongside a frustrating vacuum of facts. This is where the ethics of our coverage become paramount. We are documenting a crisis, not exploiting it. We are piecing together the public aftermath to understand the story, while respecting the family's dire need for privacy in a medical setting. We will not show up at the hospital. We will not harass relatives for comments. Our call to action is not for gossip, but for empathy and respect. Let's consider the possible timelines. If Jackson was admitted for observation, what tests are they running? An MRI to check spinal cord and brainstem compression? A sleep study if breathing is the issue? Consultations with neurologists, pulmonologists, and orthopedists? Each hour in the hospital without news is an eternity for his parents, sitting in those sterile waiting rooms, replaying every moment, wondering if they missed a sign. And what of Jackson's siblings? Little Lila, with her own beautiful spirit, and baby Josiah. Who is caring for them? Likely, the Roloff family network has swung into action. Amy's house probably became a command center for the kids, a place of attempted normalcy while their parents are anchored at the hospital. The simple, heartbreaking questions Lila must be asking: where's mommy? Where's daddy? Where's Jackson? When is he coming home? These are the unseen fractures in a family crisis. The financial and logistical burdens are also real. Even with insurance, medical care for complex conditions is astronomically expensive. There are co-pays, specialists out of network, potential travel for treatment, and lost wages from time spent at the bedside. The Roloffs have means, but a prolonged medical battle can drain any family's resources. Furthermore, there's the shadow of their reality TV contract. Does their agreement with TLC compel them to share this journey? Or do they have the right to shut the cameras off completely during a private trauma? These are brutal questions to ponder when your child is fighting in a hospital bed. We must also talk about the public narrative of disability. Jackson Roloff, by virtue of his birth, became a representative. His parents have used that platform beautifully, showing his life as one of capability and joy. But this emergency is a stark reminder of the medical vulnerabilities that can accompany dwarfism. It's a nuance often lost in the inspirational storytelling. This isn't just a story about a sick child, it's a story about a sick child with a specific skeletal dysplasia, which adds layers of complexity to his diagnosis and care. The hospital staff aren't just treating a generic pediatric case, they are likely consulting specialized literature and protocols for achondroplasia. As the hours turn into a day, and one day potentially stretches into more, the psychological toll compounds. Zach and Tori are in a cycle of adrenaline crash, helpless waiting, and forced interactions with doctors speaking a language of scary medical terminology. The simple act of getting coffee from the hospital cafeteria becomes a surreal journey through a world that's moving normally while theirs has stopped. Every ring of their phone is both a hope for good news and a fear of worse. Our source indicates that the emotional breakdown witnessed was not a single moment, but a wave that keeps crashing over them. One moment, they might be putting on a brave face for a doctor. The next, alone in a hallway, the dam breaks. They cry for their son's pain. They cry from exhaustion. They cry from the sheer, unfair randomness of it all. They are not TV characters right now. They are two terrified parents clinging to each other in a storm they never saw coming. And what about Jackson himself? In the midst of the beeping machines and unfamiliar faces, he is a little boy who needs his mom and dad. He's likely confused, in discomfort, or scared. His parents' tears, though they try to hide them, are probably felt. Their mission is to be his anchor, but who anchors the anchors? This is the cruel paradox of parenting a sick child. The wider Little People community is undoubtedly on high alert. News travels fast in tight-knit communities. Other parents of children with achondroplasia are holding their own children a little tighter tonight, checking their own lists of symptoms, feeling a collective shudder of "it could be us." They are offering private support to the Roloffs, sharing names of the best specialists, providing an understanding that only those who walk the same path truly can. Back at Roloff Farms, life is eerily still. The pumpkin season preparations might be underway, but the heart of the place, the family, is elsewhere. The iconic farmhouse, the source of so much drama and laughter, is just a building right now. The real story is happening in a quiet hospital room miles away, where the outcome is uncertain, and the only thing that's certain is love and fear, intertwined in a desperate knot. We are at a precipice in this story. The next update could bring relief, a diagnosis that, while serious, is treatable. A surgery that, while risky, has a high success rate. The words "he's stable and resting comfortably." Or, the next update could deepen the mystery, revealing a rarer, more complicated condition. It could involve talk of transfers to a children's specialty hospital hundreds of miles away. The journey could be just beginning. This is where we must leave the story for now. Not because it's over, but because we are, like everyone else, waiting at the edge of our seats. The Roloff family is in the thick of a battle no family chooses. Jackson is a fighter, but he needs more than fight, he needs advanced medicine, skilled doctors, and a torrent of prayers. If you are watching this, it means you care. You're invested in this family's story. So here's what I need you to do. First, take that concern and turn it into positive action. Leave a comment below with your messages of support and hope for Jackson and the Roloffs. The family or their friends may see it, and in dark times, knowing a world of people is rooting for you can be a tiny light. Second, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We are on top of this story, and the moment there is a verified, respectful update from the family or a reliable source, we will bring it to you immediately, right here on this channel. We are committed to covering this with dignity and accuracy, not sensationalism. Third, if this story has moved you, share it. Not to gossip, but to expand the circle of good thoughts and prayers for a little boy's recovery. Use the hashtag #PrayForJacksonRoloff to spread positivity. And finally, hug your own loved ones tonight. Life is fragile. Families are everything. The Roloffs are reminding us of that painful, beautiful truth in real time. We will be monitoring this situation closely. The next chapter is being written in a hospital room as we speak. The doctors are conferring. The nurses are monitoring. Zach and Tori are holding vigil. And Jackson is fighting. This is a story without an ending yet. It's a story of fear, love, medicine, and waiting. The only thing we know for sure is that the Roloff family will never be the same after this. What that means, we don't yet know. Join me for the next update. Until then, be kind, and hold your family close. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you need to watch part 1 immediately. The situation with Jackson Roloff has taken several critical, and frankly, terrifying turns. What began as a medical emergency has spiraled into a complex web of difficult decisions, agonizing waits, and a diagnosis that has left the entire Roloff family, and the medical team, facing an unprecedented challenge. This is no longer just a health scare, this is a profound test of resilience, faith, and the very fabric of a family. The crying witnessed earlier was just the beginning of the storm. I'm warning you now, the details we're about to explore are intense, and they lead to a cliffhanger that will leave you breathless. Do not look away. Our last update left us in the agonizing quiet of the hospital waiting room. Zach and Tori Roloff were in a state of suspended animation, caught between hope and dread. The initial flurry of tests, blood work, x-rays, basic neurological checks, had been completed. The results were trickling in, creating a confusing and contradictory picture. According to our sources, who have maintained contact with the inner circle, the first 24 hours were a process of elimination that eliminated nothing definitively. Jackson was experiencing symptoms that were both acute and severe, episodes of intense pain, particularly in his neck and upper back, intermittent numbness in his fingers, and periods of lethargy so profound they bordered on unresponsiveness. Yet, his vital signs, while fluctuating, were not an immediate, catastrophic failure. This was the medical paradox that confounded everyone, a child clearly in significant distress, but without a clear, singular cause screaming from the test results. Dr. Reynolds, our consulting specialist, helps us interpret this. In pediatrics, and especially in children with skeletal dysplasias, presentation can be atypical. Pain is a messenger, but the message is in code. The numbness suggests potential neurological involvement, nerve compression. The neck pain points to the cervical spine or skull base. The lethargy could be a pain response, or it could indicate something affecting the brainstem, which governs basic arousal. They were likely looking at 2 parallel tracks, a detailed imaging suite of the entire neuraxis, that's the brain and spine, and a systemic workup to rule out infections or inflammatory conditions. And so, Jackson was scheduled for an MRI. But this was no ordinary MRI. For a young child, an MRI often requires sedation to ensure they remain perfectly still. For a child with achondroplasia, sedation carries additional risks due to potential airway anatomy differences. Our sources confirm there was a tense, lengthy consultation between the Roloffs and the anesthesiology team. Tori, using every ounce of her research knowledge, was asking specific, pointed questions about drug protocols and monitoring. Zach was reportedly silent, gripping Tori's hand, his face pale. This was a tangible risk they had to consent to, just to get answers. The consent form, that piece of paper, felt like a betrayal, signing their child up for a procedure that carried its own dangers to find a danger they couldn't yet see. The hours of the MRI were, as described to us, a descent into a special kind of hell. They were shown to a private waiting room, a small mercy that felt like a prison. Every minute stretched into an hour. Every time a staff member walked past the door, they both jumped. The fear of a complication from the anesthesia was now layered on top of the fear of what the MRI would reveal. Finally, the lead neurologist, Dr. Evans, entered the room. His face was unreadable, a professional mask. He had the images. The moment of truth had arrived. He invited them to a viewing room, a space with dark screens and light boxes. What he showed them would change everything. The MRI revealed a finding. A significant one. But it wasn't a simple, obvious compression. The imagery showed a subtle but critical narrowing at the craniocervical junction, where the skull meets the spine. There was evidence of pressure on the lower brainstem and the upper cervical spinal cord. However, the degree of narrowing was in a medical gray zone. It was clearly causing symptoms, but it wasn't the most severe form the surgeon had seen. This presented the first monumental crossroad. Option 1. Pursue immediate, aggressive surgical decompression. This would involve a